Hey y'all, I thought I would bring y'all along and show you what I did this week to stock the pantry. I have been doing some canning, a little dehydrating, and putting some things up in the freezer. And I have still got a ton of pepper, so I am going to can some more Cowboy candy. And I will have the full video link down below how you can make this. And also I'll have the recipe, but this is so good for the holidays. Just put it over some cream cheese and it is one of the best things I have ever eaten. I love eating this even when it's not the holidays. Just throw it on a cracker with some cream cheese. And I dehydrated some chives, and I've got 2 huge bags of potatoes that I need to do something with. So I am going to bake them. Some of them I'm going to bake, and I've just scrubbed them really good and took a knife and I'm poking some holes in them, and then I'm going to take my avocado oil and rub over the potatoes, and then I'm also going to salt them really well and put them in the oven for about an hour. And I saved 3 of them, and I'm going to cut these up and make some soup. And I'm just going to put it in the crock pot. It's going to be simple and easy. I've got an onion in there cut up. I've also got some frozen chicken broth that I had in my freezer, and it was in this thing, and I love these deli containers. So I'm just going to put the lid on there and cook it until the potatoes and the onions are tender and that broth is heated up. And now I'm going to make some kind of a stacked potato. I've seen this all over Pinterest, and I've never made it before. So all you do is just thinly slice some potatoes, and I'm also going to put some salt and pepper in, as well as some oil and some onion powder and garlic powder. I'm going to use that. And I'm also going to add in some Parmesan cheese. I love the Parmesan and Romano one. I think that's my favorite. And then I'll add some chives from my garden. You could add some green onions if you like. And I'll just add in just a few, just measure with your heart. But I will have a recipe link down below that you can follow exactly. So I'm just going to mix that up, and we're going to stack them into the muffin tins. I'm just going to add some more chives over the top, and then I'll add some more of that Parmesan Romano cheese and bake it for about 350 degrees until the potatoes are nice and brown. And I would grease these muffin tins a lot, or I'm probably going to just do the silicone liners because it did stick pretty good. But these were delicious. I highly recommend these. Alright, my potatoes are out of the oven, so I'm going to make some twice baked potatoes. I just hollowed out the potato and put everything in a bowl, and I added some cream cheese, sour cream, salt, pepper, and onion powder and garlic powder. And I'm just going to mix that together. And I did add some shredded cheese, but I'm going to add the cheese when I bake them. So I'm just going to add that, and we're going to flash freeze them. Alright, they are ready for the freezer, so I'm just going to put them in the freezer just like that and let them flash freeze, and then I'll put them in the food saver bags. So now my potato soup is almost ready. My potatoes and my onions are done, so I'm just going to mash them up a little bit. If you like yours a little bit smoother, you can use an immersion blender, but I like mine just like this. And I'm just going to add in some heavy cream. And I also put in some pepper jack cheese. That made this soup so hot. So I don't know if it was the heat or what, but this was some hot soup. So if you don't want it spicy, I would just use like some regular cheddar cheese. It was still delicious, but it was hot. And I did add a little bit more cream. You can just add as much as you like to make it as creamy as you want. And I just added some bacon and some more cheese on the top, and this was delicious. We had some leftover chicken that we grilled, so we just threw that on the sheet tray. I've got those potatoes, and I also cut up some tomatoes from the garden, so I'm going to go ahead and put all of that in the food saver and get that put in the freezer. And this has been the year of the pepper, so I've still got more peppers that I just cut up, and I'm going to flash freeze those. And I went ahead and made dinner, so I just took some ground beef out of the freezer and took my potatoes that I had frozen, and now I'm just going to pop both of them in the oven, and I'll just top this with some cheese. And you've got to make that meatloaf. I will have that recipe linked down below in the description box. Best meatloaf you will ever have. And I just made some macaroni and cheese, and we had a quick dinner. And now I found some mushrooms in the back of the fridge, so I'm going to try and get those dried. and there's not that many, so I'm going to try and find some odds and ends that I can throw on the dehydrator. Right, I found some sad looking celery, so I'm going to take those tops and I'll freeze those for some stock or some broth. And I'm going to cut up my celery and throw it on there. You are supposed to blanch it, so I'm glad that mine didn't turn black. And I'm just going to add that to the tray, and I'm also going to add some of these herbs from the back deck. I've got some sage, I've got some oregano, and some chives. So I'm just going to put that on the dehydrator too. And these will come in handy on Thanksgiving, especially that sage. I use sage in everything. So, and I'll have got some of that basil, but I've got a lot of it, so I'll just do a whole tray of that by itself. And I just took everything and put it in a jar and put a lid on it, and I will have it for my spices. And now I'm just making a breakfast for tomorrow, and I'm just going to do muffin tins, and I'll put a biscuit in there, and I'll add some egg. I scrambled up 4 eggs and put a little bit of water in there, and I'm just using bacon bits to make it quick and easy, but you could use real bacon or some sausage. And I'll just cover up the biscuit with it, and then I'll add more cheese to the top and bake it until the egg's done. And these were delicious. You've got to try this, and it's so easy to make. And I hope you enjoyed spending the day with me doing some preserving, and I hope y'all have a wonderful week, and I'll see y'all in the next video.